Every objection you guys get at the end of your calls could have been removed in the first 8 minutes of the sales call. And today, what I'm going to show you guys is exactly how to remove all of the 5 main objections everybody gets on sales calls. So when you're speaking to people about actually buying the product, you don't have to deal with, oh, I need to talk to my partner, oh, I can't afford it, or it takes too much time, or I don't want it, or I don't need it. And so I just want to be clear with you guys. If you do this right, it will take you exactly 8 minutes and you'll know everything you need to know to be able to decide, hey, what do I need to sell this person? What can they spend on it? And realistically, are they going to actually be able to implement this? And it's regardless of what product or service you sell, but this is especially good if you're in the coaching space. If you sell some kind of coaching offer or some kind of consulting package, this is one of the best ways to set yourself up that when you get to that magic question about them buying the product, they can just ask what the payment terms look like. And so the first thing you need to understand is when you get somebody on a sales call, there's a lot of things you can say, but very few of them are actually going to line you up for a close. So you want to make sure that one of the first questions you ask when somebody gets on the phone or they get on a Google Meet or a Zoom is say, hey, can you just tell me a little bit about what you're looking for? And I'll see if I can help out. And if you're doing cold calls, a better way of saying this is, hey, I was reaching out. I looked at your YouTube and I noticed you guys aren't getting a lot of views. Can you tell me what you're trying to accomplish there? And I'll see if I can help out. So just change the sentence a little bit, dependent on whatever the offer is that you have. And then just be quiet. Just be quiet and listen. And let them talk for a couple of minutes. And then after they've finished speaking, you want to remove the most annoying objection in the world, which is the partner or husband or wife, objection. Oh, I need to talk to my partner. Oh, I need to talk to my husband or my wife. So what you do is you say, oh, I just realized, did you want to get like your partner on? Who should I send the link to really quick so they can hop on? And let them answer. They might say, oh, no, my partner's busy. Or they might say, oh, I don't have a partner. I run the business myself. If they run the business themselves, great. You can just keep on going with the conversation. If their partner's busy or they're like, oh, my partner, but whatever, then you need to reschedule. You're wasting your time. Anybody will use any excuse they can to avoid having to make a decision because decisions mean they're cutting away. If you look up the origin of the word decision, it means decissario, which means to cut away from something. And it's painful for people to make decisions. So they'll use that as a way to avoid having to go through the pain of making a decision. Because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to 100 other things. And so you want to make sure that you have all of the decision makers on the call. And if you don't have them on the call, just be prepared that when you ask for the money, they're going to go right to saying, hey, let me talk to my partner about this. Can you send us an email? Can you send us a proposal? Blah, blah, blah. And then you spend 3 months following up, and it's just a pain for everybody, and it's annoying. And by the way, even if you get that objection, there's ways still to overcome it. It's just a lot easier to remove it at the beginning of the call. So we're going to keep on. Let's just assume they don't have a partner. Great. One objection down. You've got 4 left to go. So you're going to keep talking to them. You're going to ask very simple questions that are open-ended. Hey, what's the goal with X, Y, and Z? I work with people on their YouTube channels. What's the goal with your guys' YouTube? And then I just sit quietly and let them tell me, oh, well, we want to get more exposure. Social media is how you make money nowadays, blah, 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 blah. And I take notes. And here's a real ninja trick for you guys. And if you only take one thing away from this video, this is one of the ones that I would say is worth writing down. You want to write the exact words they use. And the reason why is because when it comes to the close, if you say their own words back to them, they might not even remember saying it, but they'll feel like you understand better than if you rephrase it. A lot of salespeople like to rephrase things, and it's okay to do that as well, but you're going to get way more impact out of repeating their own words back to them than you will out of rephrasing it by itself. And so the thing about asking about the goal, the reason why this is so crucial is because you have to figure out what they want or what they need. And understand, to close a deal, you do not need to want and need whatever the person is selling you. To be able to close, you just have to have one or the other. The reason why $3,000, $10,000 purses sell is because women want them. They don't need them. They might think they do, they might say they do, they might even feel like they really do, but they don't. A bag is a bag. They just need a receptacle to put their items into. It doesn't have to cost $10,000, but they want it. So that's a good example of wanting but not needing. And then needing but not wanting, nobody wants to think about getting a colonoscopy. But if you're old enough, you got to get it. It's just one of the things that's part of life. If you want to have a healthy colon, you got to get it checked. So there's different things that people are going to buy for different reasons. And when you ask people what the goal is, a lot of times they're going to tell you pretty clearly what's most important to them. If you're selling a coaching offer where you're helping people to get in better shape, they might say, well, I'd like to get in better shape because, it's summertime soon and blah, blah, blah. It's also going to help you to understand their way of thinking. Somebody who's trying to get in shape for the summer and somebody who's trying to get in shape because they were just told by their doctor they're going to have a heart attack have very different motivations and very different long-term results as a result of what they do. And understanding people's motivation is one of the most important things you can do when you're on a sales call, because that's what's going to get them to buy. It's not going to be what other people expect of them, what they think things should be. It's going to be what really emotionally is actually triggering them to take some kind of action to change their life, change their business, change their relationships in some way. And that goal, getting that out of the way early, it does a couple of really good things for you. It sets you up that you now have a way of saying, okay, success for this person is going to be achieving this goal in the next 12 months. And it helps you to start thinking in the back of your mind, what product or service do you have is the best fit for helping them to achieve that goal? The third piece of this puzzle is, if they have a goal, guess what they also have? They have some obstacles. There's some things that are getting in the way. There are roadblocks, there are complete blockers, there's stops, there's headaches, there's stress, there's a lack of time, there's a lack of energy, there's a lack of people, there's a lack of capital. There's a lot of different things that could be stopping them. So I always like to make sure I ask them very clearly, what's the biggest roadblock for you guys? What's keeping you from hitting this goal already? Why didn't you do it last year, as an example? Why don't you already have this now? What is it that's slowing you guys down or completely stopping you? And it's very smart to pay attention to what they say and assume what they're telling you is the symptom of the disease, not the disease itself. If you went to a doctor and you said, oh, I'm coughing up this brown stuff, my face hurts and I'm peeing blood, the doctor would be silly to say, oh, well, let me get you something that's going to make you stop peeing blood. He's going to say, hey, we got to do some tests here to find out what's causing these symptoms. And the reason people say symptoms is because that's what appears to be most painful. When I have a cold, like I've had for the last week, I can tell you guys, I don't really care what the name of the bacteria is or the virus that gave me the cold. I only care, is there something I can buy that I don't feel the symptoms so I can get on with my life? And there's a really sneaky way that you can find out what the real problem is without being annoying. You ask them after the goal what the blocker is, and then you move on. So you move on to, what are you guys already doing to fix this? Now you're starting to get into how much time and energy and resources are they spending on it. And then when you get closer to that 8-minute mark on the call, you ask this question. Well, if I had a magic wand and I could wave it over any problem in your business, what's the one thing you would want to wave that magic wand over? That question will get you the disease. It will uncover what the real problem is. So if I'm talking to somebody, they might say, oh, our marketing really sucks. And I might ask, well, what do you mean? Like you're not getting views, or you're not getting sales, or like you're spending too much on ads? Like, what do you mean it sucks? And they'll explain further. But when I get closer to that 8-minute mark, I'm then going to ask, well, if I had a magic wand and I could wave it over anything, What would you want to solve? What would you want to get rid of? And they might say, well, our marketing team, we don't have enough people. Now we got the disease. The disease is not that the marketing isn't performing well. The disease is that they've got people in their marketing department that are either too busy, they're too overwhelmed with what they already have on their plate, so they need to hire more, or they're incompetent. They're just not good enough. And so now I know their problem is hiring. They need to hire people. It's not that their marketing sucks. I mean, that might be an outcome because of the problem, but the real problem is they need somebody in their marketing department that can produce results that are in alignment with the goal of the owner of the business. And so in that 7 minutes or so leading up to that 8-minute mark of the call, I've already figured out, okay, the partner objection is out of the way. The want or need objection is out of the way. Whether or not they have the time is out of the way because I've figured out where they're already spending their time trying to solve this problem. Now I just need to figure out whether or not they can afford it. And if you ask people about their finances prior to the 8-minute mark, I want you to do yourself a favor and slap the crap out of yourself. Do not ever, I would write this in all bold on a piece of paper and leave it on your desk. Do not ever ask people about their finances until you've spent at least 8 minutes listening to them. And the reason is it's very similar to like people's sex lives. It's a personal thing. And so not only can you not ask about it in the first 8 minutes, but you have to know how to ask very specifically in a way that depersonalizes the money for the person you're asking. So what you have to do is you have to say, well, what's revenue right now? What is this thing over here? What is revenue? And they might say, well, we're doing, $1.5 million a year. Got it. And what's net margins? What do you guys like net out of that? Oh, well, we keep about 700,000. Got it. And what do you guys keep liquid in the business bank account? Not your bank account, Mr. Prospect, sir, the business bank account. And the reason you want to do that is because when you ask people how much cash do you have, they're going to get defensive because they know you're a salesperson. They're not going to tell you the truth. And by the way, just so you know, even when you say the business bank account, they're still not always going to tell you the truth. They might overinflate it or they might underinflate it. And it really depends on the person. Some people want everyone to think they're a badass, so they'll say it's $10 million when it's one. And some people are like, hey man, I don't want this guy to try and sell me something because I might buy it for all of the money in my bank account. So they'll say a lot less money. But the reason you say the business bank account is because you don't want them to get defensive. You want them to understand this is just another question for me to understand the situation right now. I'm not asking you to try and sell you. I'm not asking you because I want to know how much I can get. I'm not asking you because I'm weird and I like to know what everybody has in their bank account. I'm asking because I've already asked a sequence of questions that have shown you I am an expert at understanding where people are so that I know how to get them from where they are to where they want to go. And the realistic thing is you'll still have people sometimes that say, well, I'm not comfortable sharing that. Say, well, look, in order for me to know what the best solution is for you guys, it's a lot like directions. If you're in California and you want to get to New York, but I don't know you're in California, I can't give you directions. I got to know where you are to know where we're at so that I can start to show you what the path is to get where you want to go. So is it closer to like $1, $1 billion, $1 trillion? I mean, I don't have to know the exact pennies you got in the bank account. Just give me an idea so I know what we're working with here. And all of that happens in literally less than 9 minutes. If you hit 9 minutes, you should have got all those questions answered already, and you're in a position that you don't have any objections at the end of the sales call. And when you get to the end of the sales call, if you've done a great presentation after they've told you all of this, if you've shown them, hey, the path to getting from here to there is these 3 things or 4 things or whatever, if they believe it and they genuinely feel like, hey, this person understands me, they understand my problem, They obviously can deliver a result because they've shown me through what they've already said and shown me in their presentation. Then the only thing that would come up at the end of the call is, do you guys have a payment plan? Are you guys open to doing the payment this way instead of this way? And what ends up happening is when you ask people to buy, the conversation doesn't end up combative where they're like, well, I got to do this. And then you're like, well, Mr. Prospect, if you do this and this, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to have all these canned responses and weird things that you say to people. I always use the analogy. It's like if you're trying to get lucky with your husband or your wife, you don't try to do that. You don't try to seduce them right in the middle of an argument. You get the argument out of the way early on in the day, so you've got plenty of time at the back end of the day to start seducing. It's the same thing with sales. Get the argument out of the way in the first 8 minutes of the call so you can seduce them into buying at the end of the call. And realistically, there's only 5 objections, right? It's just, can they afford it? Do they have the time to implement it? Do they want it or do they need it? And are they the person that can make that decision? And if you guys follow this religiously, I guarantee you what will happen on your sales calls is you'll find that when you get to that magic question, you ask them to buy, they're literally just going to either say yes or no, or they're going to say, can we do it this way? And if you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.